साथ लेकर चलने का है। कांग्रेस और उसके जैसी पार्टियों का कल्चर छोटा छोटा सोचना, छोटे सपने देखना और उससे भी कम हासिल करके खुशियां मनाना बस, और खुशी एक दूसरे की पीठ थपथपाना। भाजपा का पॉलिटिकल कल्चर है बड़े सपने देखने और उससे भी ज्यादा हासिल करने के लिए जी जान से खप जाना, शरीर का कण कण, समय का पल पल खपाने का हौसला रखते हैं।
Nothing to hide, nothing to, say. Chronic capitalism is very much a Congress habit, not a BJP habit.
चाहे असेंबली में हो, चाहे पार्लियामेंट में, ऐसा कभी नहीं देखा। इसका उद्देश्य यही है, जो हमने मुद्दे उठाए हैं, खास करके अदानी के इशू पे, और मुझे और एक इसका सरकार इतना जो खासकर मोदी जी जो बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं, इसका मतलब क्या है? क्यों एक ही कैपिटलिस्ट को इतना सब संपत्ति सरकार की क्यों दे रहे हैं?
Well, let's take this question to our guest as well. Tushar Gupta, senior editor of the Swaraj magazine, is with us on the broadcast. We're expecting Meeta Chakrabarti from the Congress party to also join us in just a few minutes from now. Good evening, Tushar. Thank you for speaking with us. It's unfortunate that the second leg of the budget session could not be productive. And I mean to say, not from the political point of view, but from the legislative point of view. There was many important bills that were pending the consideration of the parliament that could not take up, especially at Rajya Sabha. And if one looks at the numbers and the number of productive hours we have had in this session, it is one of the worst sessions that we have had.
Well, Anusha, call it a washout. There's no other way to define the session that went by. It's a washout. There were important debates that need to happen. The global economy, where it stands, where we need the reforms, especially in the manufacturing sector. Of course, the government is doing a lot by its, virtue of administration, but there were a lot of issues that needed deliberation. But it's rather disappointing that the opposition made it about just one capitalist. They made it about one short seller report, and there was a political deadlock to which there was no end. But at the end of the day, it is the time that we are losing. It's not about the BJP or the Congress. It's the time that the country ends up losing in which important reforms could have been ushered. We keep debating, we keep discussing that we need this reform, we need labor reforms, we need land reforms, we need to speed up our infrastructure projects, we need to speed up our other economic pursuits. But then we cannot stick to budget sessions being a washout. That's the disappointing part. And I think going forward for the future sessions, there needs to be some sort of understanding between the parties, especially the ruling and the opposition parties, that irrespective of all the political gimmicks and games that they play outside the parliament, inside the parliament, they should serve the nation. That comes first. Their political ideologies do not come first.
I take your point. I take your point, and
but
I'll take all those points to Meeta ji as well. She's with us on the broadcast. Meeta ji, thank you for speaking with us. But Tushar, before that, while you point out that the opposition insisted on one corporate house and they wanted the investigation on that particular corporate house, the argument of the opposition parties were that if this is not such a big issue, and if allegedly there are no links between the ruling dispensation and this particular corporate entity, then why not have a joint parliamentary committee look into this entire matter? And more importantly, on both the sides, there was political stubbornness. Both sides said nobody is going to budge. And that's the reason why you rightly said it was a washout, Tushar.
Well, Anusha, look, the Supreme Court is already looking into the case. The regulators, SEBI, are already looking into the Adani case. We also have to look at the institutions that were questioning the credibility of the Adani enterprises. Look at where is Credit Suisse today. That was one of the organizations that refused to have any Adani bonds as collateral. Look at where the banking crisis in the West is today. Look at what Hindenburg was claiming to be a short seller. While I agree that, the opposition wanted to stall the session clinging onto the Adani issue, the Supreme Court was already investigating it very early on. In fact, in January or February beginning, the finance minister said that the regulators are taking a look into it. My only worry, Anusha, is that if the JPC was indeed ordered then we were setting a precedent for the future that every time a company goes through a stock market turmoil, there will be a JPC. Now, that is not how the state should be interfering in private businesses.
Okay.
Should Adani be investigated? Maybe not. That's a different debate. But should the state be intervening into every private company's affairs
Mitaji,
just because there has
while
been a
the
tumble in the stock
opposition
price?
has
That
all
is
the
absolutely
right,
unacceptable.
while the opposition has all the right to raise any issue on floor of the House, demand accountability from the government, good that you're doing your job, but should an entire session be held hostage to one particular issue? Only because the opposition parties want to set a narrative ahead of 2024. The government is saying the Supreme Court has formed a committee. There are broad regulatory issues that committee is looking into, and if after that the need be, we will set up a committee, we will look into this matter. Till then, let the parliament function. For the washout, the opposition parties are equally responsible. Mitaji.
Good evening to all your viewers, and I'm glad that you used the term equally responsible. Because if we see at the chronology of events, then you will understand that initially the parliament was held hostage to a demand made by the ruling party. The disturbance was coming from the ruling party when they did not want the parliament to progress because they were demanding an apology from Rahul Gandhi ji for a statement that he even didn't make in the UK, for a distorted version of his statement. Rahul Gandhi ji in UK clearly stated that democracy is lost in India, and he gave some specific evidences to support his claim. But very specifically, he stated as well that this is India's internal problem and we will have to find a solution within India. His statements got distorted. It was placed as if he is seeking foreign intervention, which he never did. And the ruling party created ruckus inside the house seeking an apology. When Rahul Gandhi ji asked for a time to speak, he wrote twice to the speaker. He went and spoke to the speaker himself because he had to be given a chance in order to give a clarification. What happened? His disqualification followed. Perfect timing. We have seen earlier as how a budget worth 50 lakh crore got passed within a period of 12 minutes. No discussion, no debate, nothing followed. And then when we raised the issue of Adani, who became the second richest person from 609th position within a period of 2.5 years, and when we express our concerns with specific evidences, with specific supporting documentation, all taken from different media reports, along with the Hindenburg report, and we asked for a JPC probe. It was a very simple demand. It has been done in the past, both during Congress rule as well as in BJP,
Mitaji,
government time. It was denied.
I gave you all the time to make your argument. No, I'm going to raise this with Tushar as well, and perhaps he'll be also able to speak about why is it. 1 second.
Just 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Just 10 seconds. Why was the government scared of a JPC probe? They have a clear majority.
No.
I'll
come to that.
The government's
argument is, and Mitaji, you can respond to this. You've made your argument. Listen to my point. The argument of the government was that this is not a matter that directly concerns the public exchequer. This is a matter that concerns a private entity and the exposure of the public sector undertakings. 1 second, ma'am. Yes, of course, I'm coming to you only. And the exposure of the public sector undertakings is very, very limited. There is no involvement of government money or public money into this, or any kind of broad, large-scale allegations, or like a 2G scam or a coal scam that earlier demanded a JPC and the intervention of the Supreme Court of India. If a matter concerns a private entity, why should the precious time of the parliament be wasted? And I will take that point to Tushar as well, as to why should the government insist upon an apology from Rahul Gandhi if he is politically a nobody. But Mitaji, first respond to this point.
Okay, first of all, regarding 3G scam, it was the judge who stated, there's an official statement that for 7 long years I had been waiting in the court for one piece of credible evidence and nothing got furnished. So that's about the 3G scam that often gets referred to in a lot of discussions and debates. Secondly, for the JPC probe, it has happened before, and if the government has nothing to hide, then why shy away from a JPC probe? They would have still had the majority in the Joint Parliamentary Committee. The only advantage that the opposition party members, representatives would have had, that they would have had access to certain documentation and data, and they could have possibly shared their opinion. Then why, if there's nothing to hide, if there is no link with the central ruling dispensation and Adani, if there is no link, if there is nothing to hide about the shell companies, then why shy away from a JPC demand? So we as responsible opposition parties are well within our rights to ask for a JPC probe. And what you said about no money, no public money has been used. There has been funding that has been given by companies like LIC, by SBI. They have deposits from where did this money come from?
For the benefit and one second, for the paucity of time, I don't want to go into the details of the Adani issue because it has been a never-ending issue, and I do believe that only a proper regulatory inquiry can put an end to this entire debate that has gone on politically. But I want to come back to the point of how opposition behaved and what did the government do. Tushar, was it right on the part of the government to insist that Rahul Gandhi should apologize? I mean, it's the BJP that has gone on to say that Rahul Gandhi is politically a nobody. He has not achieved anything in his life to deserve any kind of, political attention. Then why should the parliament be stalled because Rahul Gandhi has not apologized?
Because a precedent had to be set, Anusha. Look, I do not want the session to be a washout in my country in a budget session.
Sure.
But I also do not want a precedent to be set where opposition leaders, especially leaders like Rahul Gandhi, who command an entire party, have the freedom to go out on foreign soil, remark that democracy in India is dead. It's not something that is going to happen. It's already happened. And there is no reaction. That were his exact words. He said there is no reaction because I understand there is trade and money involved. Now, the spokesperson here may want to spin his statements. The Congress has been trying to spin his statements for a month. But even in Karnataka today, what are we getting to hear? That the local Karnataka leaders do not want Rahul Gandhi to come there and raise the Adani issue because there is no credibility about it. So my question still remains. Rahul Gandhi, who he claims is fighting the bigger fight, could have apologized for his remarks, could have apologized to the Surat court and moved on and questioned the government. He did not do it. The point here is that opposition leaders cannot go on foreign soil and ask for foreign intervention. That is a non-negotiable. About
I
what the
have to interrupt.
spokesperson
I'll
has
come to
said,
you,
ma'am, the
Mitaji.
LIC
Mitaji,
is
I'll
not-
give you the time to respond. I'll give you the time to respond. Yeah.
And I need to fact check you, ma'am. The LIC is not funding
I need to
Adani
fact
Enterprises.
One second,
That
one
is
second.
not
One
how
at a
it
time,
works.
one at a time.
The LIC had certain investments in Adani Enterprises, which they came out publicly saying that even with all the stock market price correction, our investments are still profitable. So they were very early to make the disclaimer, which was worrying the opposition.
Right.
The opposition took no heed of it.
Right.
So Anusha, we need to understand that the opposition, even when they wanted to, let's go back to the budget day. Finance minister was reciting the intricacies of the budget. What was the opposition party doing? They were chanting Adani, Adani. And here the spokesperson says that we wanted a discussion. Well, if they wanted a discussion,
I
they would
have
have gone
last 2
for a
minutes on
discussion.
the
They did
show,
not.
and you can respond to what Tushar said. I want to add one question. And I ask this question to you as a political observer, as a student of politics in this country. The opposition has been hunting for a perfect corruption scandal, whether it's Rafale, whether it's the Pegasus case, whether it's the Adani issue. But it has failed to resonate with the masses in the way and manner in which the opposition would want it to.
It's laughable.
Is this your failed attempt? Ma'am, please allow me to ask you the question. You can rebut me and tell me that it's laughable, and I'll take it in the right spirit. But my question to you is that despite the Congress party vociferously raising these issues, has it completely failed to resonate with the masses and your electorate?
Okay, I'll answer this just in a bit, but first I have to make a clarification about Rahul Gandhi's statement in the UK. I was physically present there at that time. Rahul Gandhi ji did talk about democratic values being eroded in the country in today's global age, in today's age of digital age, where the whole world is digitally connected. It's laughable when you say that you cannot make an observation or you cannot make a criticism of your own country's institutes or the government
I didn't
abroad.
say that. I didn't
Modi
say that.
ji is
Just one
not
second,
India.
ma'am. I didn't say that.
Modi ji is not India.
You can go on foreign soil.
The other panelists.
Yeah, sure.
And Rahul
other
Gandhi is no
panelists,
litmus test for democracy.
Tusharji, let Mitaji finish. Tushar, please let Mitaji
extend the
finish.
same courtesy to me.
Yes, Mitaji,
Thank
please
you.
go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what he said was, and he gave specific instances where the mics were silenced when parts of his speech were expunged. So there were specific supporting evidences that he gave to support his statement.
What is Rahul
he
Gandhi's
never
presence,
seek
attendance
foreign
in the parliament?
intervention. We have been
What is Rahul
asking for
Gandhi's
the
attendance
bite.
in the parliament?
We
How many
have
questions has
we
he
have
asked
been
in the
asking
parliament?
for the bite. Please do
You
not
need to
interrupt
be fact
me,
checked
sir.
for every
Please,
sentence
do
you
not
utter.
please let her
interrupt
finish.
me.
Please let her finish.
Please do
Mitaji,
not-
Mitaji,
I
go
have
ahead.
been- you need to be fact-checked as well, sir.
I will stop the
So,
other person. Please
you
speak,
need-
Mitaji.
yes. Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So when we asked for give us a specific part where he had seek foreign intervention, the BJP spokesperson, the BJP IT head had failed to do so. He in fact, while answering to a journalist, his words were, this is India's internal problem and we will find a solution to it. Those were Rahul Gandhi's exact words, and I'm just quoting him here. So that's number one, that he never ever seek foreign intervention into India's problem. So that was a complete distortion of his statement.
I also
Number
made a
two,
point about
you have been
opposition
talking about
looking
corruption.
for a... Yes.
You are about talking about corruption.
Yeah.
Let me share some data with you. When we have Shubhendu Adhikari crossing over to BJP, who was seen on camera taking money and is now the opposition leader in West Bengal Assembly, the state from where I come, there was a particular tweet calling him chore on BJP's handle, which got removed, and the interrogation stopped. You have Hemanta Biswa Sharma, and it was BJP that used to call him chore, and he's now the chief minister of Assam. So everybody's been given a promotion. Suddenly, Narayan Rane is no longer corrupt. You do not hear about the Bellary brothers in Karnataka.
Ma'am.
In Karnataka, you have a person, a BJP leader, writing a letter to the Prime Minister.
I have to give last 1 minute to Tushar, but I want to respond to what you're saying. You know, if you logically hear this entire argument of the opposition parties, whether it's Shubhendu Adhikari, Hemanta Biswa Sarma, I'm not going to the merits of the argument so far or what you're saying about Hemanta Biswa Sarma or Shubhendu Adhikari. But I find it fascinating that there is a tacit acceptance that there is corruption within the opposition. There is also a certain degree of tacit acceptance that when they were in opposition, they were doing something wrong. The only charge that you're putting on the BJP is that for their own political benefits, they are poaching people who were earlier corrupt. That does not prove that the present government in any way is involved in corrupt practices or corruption scandals. That as a responsible opposition, you should point out to the people. And if the Congress party was able to do that, it would show in your electoral performances, Mitaji, wouldn't it?
So yes, of course. So in Karnataka, one of the main issues that we are highlighting is the corruption of the government. And come 13th of May, you will be able to see it in the electoral results as well. Okay. We saw it in the electoral results very recently in the state of Himachal Pradesh, where the result was 40 and 25 in favor of Congress. Let's not just forget that. Secondly, when you have a BJP leader writing a letter to the Prime Minister of the nation stating, and I think the person, if I'm not mistaken, actually went ahead and committed suicide after that, or at least attempted to commit suicide, writing that nothing in this state can be done without paying 40% commission, then you have within the BJP.
Let's see, ma'am, what happens in Karnataka. I have last 30 seconds on the show. Tushar, a quick response from you. Tushar, please. Tushar.
You know,
it's laughable to say that BJP governments are not corrupt.
Tushar.
You know, the Congress is a confused party, Anusha. When they win the elections, look, the electorate is supporting us. But when they lose the elections, the institutions are not in our control. The institutions have been taken over by the ruling government.
No.
The Congress itself has no idea what they believe in. And, you know, it's really laughable that the spokesperson here speaks of corruption by Hemanta while he was in the Congress. So what was the Congress party doing back then? They are actually accepting that when there were people within us, they were corrupt.
Mitaji, I did not allow anybody to interrupt you. Yes.
Okay.
The Congress is actually going on every channel, not just this spokesperson, accepting that, oh, these people were with us, they were corrupt, so why did they go to the BJP? Now, if you have a case against them, approach the courts. You have all the right.
It was you who called them corrupt.
Noise. And yesterday,
one at a time. This time belongs to Tushar Gupta, please. Tushar, yes.
Ma'am, I'll sum it up in a very simple way. For the longest period of time, you've been claiming that the ED and the CBI have been used against the opposition selectively. Yesterday, 14 of the parties approached the Supreme Court. One of them was the Aam Aadmi Party, which is claiming that there is political vendetta in the excise policy case. Do you know that in Delhi, the Congress is actually agreeing to an investigation in the excise policy case? So that is why I say that the Congress is a confused party. And yesterday the
No,
Supreme
it
Court
is a
was
case
right
to case
And in
in
fact,
junking the
in
petition
hindsight,
image.
even
Since we are talking
the
about
legal
ED
eagles
and
within the
CBI,
Congress party would agree that that entire litigation at the Supreme Court was not a well thought out one. They had to withdraw that petition from the Supreme Court of India. Thank you, Meeta ji and Tushar, for joining us on the broadcast and getting us your perspective on that washout of the second leg of the budget session, which was this time with no proper legislative business being taken by the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha amid the standoff between the centre and the opposition. Reactions on the story.
आखिरी दिन को भी कांग्रेस और उनके साथियों ने बहुत गलत तरीके से डिस्टर्ब किया, हाउस को चलने नहीं दिया, काले कपड़े पहन करके संसद का फिर से अपमान किया। ये बहुत देश के लिए दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण अवस्था है।
Rahul Gandhi's disqualification, the opposition also rose. The net result is we've had no debate, no discussion, no progress. We've had a situation where 45 lakh crores of taxpayers' money has been approved on the finance bill without a single minute's discussion. This is not the way parliamentary democracy is supposed to function. And therefore the objective here has been to show the flag, literally, and to say let's protect and safeguard our democracy. The future of our country depends on it.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी जिस तरह से पिछले 9 वर्षों के शासन में, जहां हम 2014 के पहले दुनिया की समस्याओं के में कहीं न कहीं हम पीछे खड़े रहते थे, और आज ये परिस्थितियां हुई हैं कि हम दुनिया में बहुत चीज़ों पर आगे हैं।
पक्ष ने 13 मार्च से आज तक जब कभी बोलने की कोशिश की, एलओपी ने या विपक्ष में किसी ने, बलपूर्वक वहां से शोर शुरू हो जाता है। लोकतंत्र की हत्या हो रही है, किस लिए? भ्रष्टाचार को बचाने के लिए।
The government themselves is not allowing to run the parliament, and their treasury bench during this session has stopped the parliamentary proceedings. Why? They don't want to discuss this Adani scam. They are running away from the Adani scam. We are continuously asking for an inquiry, JPC inquiry on this thing. They don't want to do this. Therefore, they are running away from the parliament. There is no parliament, democracy is there. Therefore, we are marching towards that.
वो मित्र जो है ना आपका, उसने देश की साख खराब कर दी है। We need to restore the credibility of my nation. Where the mind is without fear. इसलिए मैं मोदी जी को हम लोग संदेश दे रहे हैं, देश से बड़ा अडानी नहीं। People are united. There is a pressure on each political party, and you would see in coming months everything shall be in order.
Well, the elections will tell us what resonated on the ground and what did not. We'll continue tracking that and much more on the other side of a quick break. Stay tuned.
Middle of the road brand, it's a non-partisan brand, and I think viewers are liking it. A large majority of viewers are liking it, consuming it, watching it, and giving us feedback on what we are doing right. I think that is an incredible testimony, and I want to once again thank our viewers for this. You can, as I said, consume CNN News 18 content on linear television, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. We are available across platforms, and I think for us internally, that's going to be the road forward, to become platform agnostic. The brand is omnipotent, it's omnipresent, it is platform agnostic. We're going to be experimenting with artificial intelligence, with augmented reality, with virtual reality. We're going to give you the next level experience of tools that you've already seen and consumed on brand CNN News 18, whether it is Alexa, the quadcopter, the magic wall. We're going to give the most user-friendly, the most consumer-friendly experience of all of these tools and all of these experiences that we're bringing together here on CNN News 18. And I can't be more excited about the next 50 weeks, just as I was about these past 50 weeks. So once again, thank you to our viewers. We will continue to plow on like this, bring you middle-of-the-road, sober, sane, non-partisan news. And we hope that you continue supporting us like you have over the last 50 weeks. Thank you once again to all the viewers across India and around the world who have helped and trusted this brand and this channel across platforms. Thank you once again on behalf of this young team here at CNN News 18 and from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for your love and support.
This is a big announcement for us right here on CNN News 18. A historic feat for our channel, a historic week for our channel, as 50 weeks of news dominance with CNN News 18. Our channel has, as you can see, maintained the lead for 50 weeks at #1.
Thank you very much, for starters, to all our viewers, because this is an incredible achievement in the history of Indian news television. No channel has had this kind of a run for 50 weeks. In cricketing terms, it's a half century. It's almost a year. It's 2 weeks short of a year since CNN News 18, your channel, became #1. We want to thank all our viewers because I don't think we could have achieved this without your support, your love, and your commitment to the kind of journalism, the kind of news stories that we put out there. I think this is an incredible testament to the fact that there is a large audience out there that wants sane, sober, middle-of-the-road news without any shouting, without any chest thumping, without any hyperventilation. And I think the fact that CNN News 18 has been #1 now for the last 50 weeks is actually a salute, is actually a testament to all of those viewers who are not wanting to move to the partisan extremes, as it were. They are happy to get good old-fashioned news, sane, sober, middle of the road, without any political biases, as it were, not swinging left, not swinging right, just knowing what happened in the country and in the world around them today and why it's important and why they should be paying attention. I think it is an affirmation, like I said, for that kind of old school journalism, if you will. Even though I don't think the team that is bringing this together is a very, very young team. I keep saying this in our newsroom. The average age in the newsroom is probably 25 or 26. So it's a young team, and 50 weeks. The last 1 year. I think it's the fruit of the effort that we have put in, this young team has put in over the last 3 years or so. For me, this journey really began 3 years ago, incidentally around the same time when COVID happened. The entire country went into lockdown, and we had this young team. We had to work from 4 different locations. There was one office, one team in one part of office. There was another team in the other part of office that would come at a different time. There were multiple teams that were working from home, and it was hell. It really was hell. But I think the way different people in this young team stepped up when the challenge presented itself or when the opportunity presented itself, I think that was incredible. And so the effort really started, in my view, from 2020 onwards, when we went through the sort of cataclysmic events of the COVID-19 surge and the lockdown and so on. What we have seen over the last 1 year, last 50 weeks, is the fruit of all of that hard work, is the fruit of all of that labor. So I think this is an ode to the young team here at CNN News 18 as well. But like I said, it's incredible. It hasn't happened in the history of news television that a channel has dominated the ratings in this fashion for 50 weeks. And I'm also happy to report to our viewers, it's not just on one platform, it's not just on linear television where our dominance has been well established now for the better part of the last 1 year. We're also now the #1 English news channel on YouTube, and it's been the case for the last 8 months. In fact, the month of March, we would close out with 90 million views, I think, which is incredible. It's again unheard of in Indian news television that an English channel from India gets 90 million views. We've had 100 million views plus every month since September of last year. We're again #1 on Facebook. I think last month we closed out at 135 million views on Facebook. So again, I come back to that point. So we're #1 across platforms, whether it is television, whether it is YouTube, whether it is Facebook. And I think, this is an incredible achievement. And like I said, an ode to the young team here that is toiling away day in and day out. It couldn't have been possible without them. And once again, I want to really, really thank all our viewers. We had a big event last week, Rising India, and even just anecdotally, people who came up to me or came up to some of our senior editors and faces, and they were speaking, and the one sort of constant thing that you always heard was, I like watching your channel because you guys don't shout. So I think that's become a bit of an identity, if you will. And again, once again, thank you, viewers. We couldn't have done this without you. I think it's an incredible achievement. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of everyone here at Team CNN News 18. We hope your love and support and affection continues for the next 50, maybe the next 100 weeks. As they say in cricketing terms, this is just a half century. Abhi century to baki hai.
Zakha, over the last few years, we've also seen a lot of skepticism towards the rating system itself. So I wanted to ask you to break down for our audiences what that number lead actually means. We're showing our audiences 34.8, I believe, on the ticker below. Can you tell us more?
Welcome back. And after being confirmed, the Padma Shri Award renowned Bidri artist Rashid Ahmed Qadri thanked Prime Minister Modi for his generosity and the kind of recognition that has come in from the government. He said that the perception that BJP will never confer an award or recognize the Muslim community is something that is ill-founded. He has also argued that he thought that his efforts and work will never be recognized with the present government, but by disproving him, the Prime Minister has once again instilled faith in Indian institutions. That's what he said. The BJP has said that it's about recognition to art and development of all communities, irrespective of any kind of discrimination. The Congress party, as expected, calls this a scripted drama.
मैं लीगल कर्नाटक कांग्रेस पीरियड में मैं 5 साल तक अप्लाई करा, नहीं हुआ। उसके बाद मैं खामोश बैठ गया कि बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट कही है यह हमको नहीं देगी, मगर आप मेरा ख्याल गलत साबित करके मेरे को सुनिए, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
उन्होंने पीएम को जब उनको अवार्ड मिला तो उन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री से कहा कि मैंने काफी टाइम यूपीए के टाइम पे भी मुझे लगा कि मुझे अवार्ड मिलेगा, मैंने अप्लाई भी किया था लेकिन कभी नहीं मिला और मुझे लगा ही नहीं कि बीजेपी कभी माइनॉरिटी को अवार्ड देगी, लेकिन आज उन्होंने दिया है।
सिलेक्टेड लोगों को ये देते हैं और फिर उनसे ये बयान दिलवाते हैं। अब कितने लोग आशा कर रहे हैं पद्म अवार्ड मिलेगा, पद्म अवार्ड सबको तो नहीं मिल सकता, यूपीए के टाइम पे नहीं मिला, इन्होंने दिया और चूंकि उनके हाथ साफ दिख गए कि उसके पीछे इरादा क्या है, उन्होंने उससे बयान दिलवा के उसको हाईलाइट करा दिया कि एक मुसलमान को दिया उन्होंने। बस पूरी तरह स्क्रिप्टेड, डायरेक्टेड बाय बीजेपी।
Reflects सबका साथ सबका विकास सबका विश्वास sentiment, and it also shows how the Padma Awards today have been recasted as People's Padma, where it is not connections or networking, but it is the sheer hard work of the individual. The Congress party has always done this to Muslim minorities in particular. They have only exploited them in the name of vote bank politics. In the name of vote bank politics, they have only given them the biggest riots in this country. Instead of taking action on those riots, in 1984, Sikh genocide, we know how the Congress party justified the genocide of the Sikhs.
Well, we'll talk about that story, but right now there's a reaction coming in from Mr. A.K. Antony, whose son has recently joined the BJP. Let's listen in to what the Congress leader says.
ബിജെപിയിൽ ചേരാനുള്ള അനിലിൻ്റെ തീരുമാനം എനിക്ക് വളരെ വേദനയുണ്ടാക്കി. തികച്ചും തെറ്റായ ഒരു തീരുമാനമായി പോയി എന്നാണ് അതേക്കുറിച്ച് എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ളത്. ഇന്ത്യ രാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ ഐക്യം, അതിൻ്റെ ആണിക്കൽ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ബഹുസ്വരതയും മതേതരത്വവുമാണ്. നരേന്ദ്രമോദി സർക്കാർ അധികാരമേറ്റതിന് ശേഷം ആസൂത്രിതമായി നമ്മുടെ അടിസ്ഥാന നയങ്ങളെ നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യം പ്രാണവായു പോലെ കാത്തുസൂക്ഷിച്ച
ഈ നയങ്ങളെ ദുർബലപ്പെടുത്താനുള്ള തുടർച്ചയായ ശ്രമങ്ങളാണ് നടത്തിക്കൊണ്ടിരുന്നത്. ഒന്നാം മോദി സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ കാലത്ത് അല്പം സാവകാശത്തിലാണ് കാര്യങ്ങൾ നീങ്ങിയത്. 2019 തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പ് വിജയത്തിന് ശേഷം രാജ്യം ബഹുസ്വരതയ്ക്കും മതേതരത്തിനു പകരം ഏകത്വത്തിലേക്ക്, നാനാത്വത്തിൽ ഏകത്വത്തിന് പകരം ഏകത്വത്തിലേക്ക് നീങ്ങണം.
After the 2019 result, instead of unity in diversity, it is going in an authoritarian way.
തുടർച്ചയായ ശ്രമങ്ങൾ നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഇതിൻ്റെ ഫലമെന്താണ്? രാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ ഐക്യം ദുർബലമാകുന്നു.
The unity of the country is weakening.
ദുർബലമാകുന്നു, ശീലമാകുന്നു. സമുദായ സൗഹാർദ്ദം കൂടുതൽ കൂടുതൽ ശിഥിലമാകുന്നു. ഇത് അപൽക്കരമായ നിലപാടാണ്. എന്നെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം ബിജെപിയുടെയും RSSന്റെയും ഈ തെറ്റായ വിനാശകരമായ നയങ്ങൾക്കെതിരെ ഞാൻ ശബ്ദം ഉയർത്തും. അക്കാര്യത്തിൽ യാതൊരു സംശയവും എനിക്കില്ല. സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യ സമരകാലം മുതൽ ജാതിയോ മതമോ ഭാഷയോ പ്രദേശമോ വർണ്ണമോ വർഗമോ നോക്കാതെ എല്ലാ ഇന്ത്യക്കാരെയും ഒരുപോലെ കണ്ട ഒരു കുടുംബമാണ് നെഹ്റു കുടുംബം.
Right from the time of independence, the Congress family has seen everyone as one without any differences of religion, caste.
വേട്ടയാടുകൾക്കിടയിലും നിർഭയമായി വിട്ടുവീഴ്ചയില്ലാതെ പോരാടുന്നവരാണ് ആ കുടുംബാംഗങ്ങൾ.
Even today, even after all this witch hunt, the family is trying to fight for the secularism of the country.
ഒരു ഘട്ടത്തിൽ ഇന്ദിരാഗാന്ധിയുമായി അകന്നുപോയി. വീണ്ടും ഇന്ദിരാഗാന്ധിയുമായി യോജിച്ച് ഇന്ദിരാഗാന്ധി ശേഷം ഇന്ദിരാഗാന്ധിയോടും ആ കുടുംബത്തോടും മുമ്പുണ്ടായിരുന്നതിനേക്കാൾ കൂടുതൽ ആദരവും ബഹുമാനവും സ്നേഹവും ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതുമാത്രമല്ല, ഇന്ത്യൻ ഭരണഘടനയുടെ അടിസ്ഥാന മൂല്യം സംരക്ഷിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി വിട്ടുവീഴ്ചയില്ലാതെ പോരാടുന്നതിൻ്റെ മുൻപന്തിയിലുള്ളത് ആ കുടുംബമാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ എൻ്റെ കൂടെ എല്ലാ കാലത്തും ആ കുടുംബത്തോടൊപ്പമായിരിക്കും. എന്നെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം എൻ്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ, രാഷ്ട്രീയ ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ മാത്രമല്ല, എൻ്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ അവസാന നാളുകളിലേക്കാണ് ഞാൻ കടന്നു പോകുന്നത്. എനിക്ക് വയസ്സ് 82. എത്ര നാൾ ജീവിക്കുമെന്ന് എനിക്കറിയില്ല. ദീർഘായുസിന് എനിക്ക് താല്പര്യവുമില്ല. പക്ഷെ എത്ര നാൾ ജീവിച്ചാലും ഞാൻ മരിക്കുന്നത് ഇന്ത്യൻ നാഷണൽ കോൺഗ്രസിന്റെ ഒരു പ്രവർത്തകനായിരിക്കും.
I will die as an Indian National Congress worker.
ഒരു ചർച്ചയ്ക്കും ചോദ്യോത്തരങ്ങൾക്കും ഒരിക്കൽ പോലും ഞാൻ തയ്യാറാകില്ല. ഈ സംബന്ധിച്ചുള്ള ആദ്യത്തെയും അവസാനത്തെയും പ്രതികരണം. നന്ദി.
Antony saying that the decision of his son has hurt him and it was an unfortunate decision. He continues to maintain a certain degree of distance from that political call his son has taken. Let's listen in to what his son said while joining the BJP.
आजकल कांग्रेस के कई नेता और कार्यकर्ता मानते हैं कि उनका धर्म एक परिवार के लिए काम करना है, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि मेरा धर्म इस राष्ट्र के लिए काम करना है। हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के पास हमारे देश को अगले 25 साल में एक विकसित राष्ट्र बनाने के लिए एक बहुत स्पष्ट दृष्टिकोण है। I do think that it is my responsibility and duty to contribute towards the Prime Minister's vision of nation building and national integration. I also hope that vast majority of India, whole of young India, whole of India feel the same.
Joining the Bharatiya Janata Party on this very auspicious foundation day of the BJP. He's a multifaceted personality. The fact that he raised strong objections to the BBC documentary which sought to inflame tempers and raise completely unfounded and which were termed by Mr. Antony as an assault on India's sovereignty and integrity, for standing up for India and for national pride. And therefore he had to leave the Congress. And I compliment him for his boldness, for his strength and courage of conviction.
My colleague Arun Dhata is joining us on the broadcast, getting us more details on that story. Arun, as expected, his father continues to maintain a certain degree of political distance from the call that the son has taken. Mr. Antony has also called Amit's decision as unfortunate and something that has hurt him. But his posturing, Anil Antony's posturing in the last few weeks, especially on the BBC documentary issue, on multiple other issues, had hinted to the possibility that he may just join the BJP.
Well, see, Anil Antony has been continuously criticizing Congress in the past as well. We had seen his tweets, and remember, he was somebody who was in fact managing the Wayanad-related Twitter handle of Rahul Gandhi. So he was that close to Rahul Gandhi, and today you see Anil Antony joining Bharatiya Janata Party in the presence of Union Minister Piyush Goyal, Tarun Chugh, and other senior leaders. And now his father is reacting to his joining to BJP, saying that it's unfortunate. In fact, when we asked Anil Antony in his press conference that how things going to be at home now, because 2 weeks ago, Senior Antony had said, in fact, asked all the opposition parties to come together and form an alliance against the BJP. In fact, he called the BJP anti-democratic party. In that regard, he said that we are 4 people in our family, and all of us have different ideologies, and therefore I have chosen my path in this direction. In fact, he said how he was feeling breathless in the Congress party, and therefore he had to take this decision to join Bharatiya Janata Party.
All said and done, Arun, he's not a political heavyweight. I mean, he might have had an important role to play in Rahul Gandhi's media team or handling the Twitter handle, and optically it makes a lot more sense for the BJP because he's the son of Mr. A.K. Antony. But his own individual political journey, that's yet to take off.
Well, that's right. He doesn't have any, backings on the ground. He does not have any cadre support. He does not have people behind him. But of course, as far as optics and posturing is concerned, that's something which on which BJP is focusing more. And you don't have elections in Kerala right now. But of course, a person like Anil Antony, who's the son of a very powerful, a very senior Congress leader, former Defence Minister A.K. Antony, and it really his entry in BJP speaks for itself. And therefore, BJP will not really shy away from using this on the ground
the optics
in
of it
2024.
and the images of it, and to make sure that it registers that this is the son of Mr. A.K. Antony who's now joined the BJP. So the future is with the BJP. That is the messaging that they're putting out. We'll continue tracking this and much more on the other side of a very quick break. Stay tuned.
This is a big announcement for us right here on CNN News 18. A historic feat for our channel, a historic week for our channel, as 50 weeks of news dominance.
It's not just on linear television that CNN News 18 is #1. We are #1 today on YouTube, #1 on Facebook, and #1 on the BARC TRP ratings for linear television. The team that is bringing this together is a very, very young team. I think it's the fruit of the effort that we have put in. The way different people in this young team stepped up when the challenge presented itself or when the opportunity presented itself, I think that was incredible. We want to thank all our viewers because I don't think we could have achieved this without your support, your love, and your commitment to the kind of journalism, the kind of news stories that we put out there.
This is a big announcement for us right here on CNN News 18. A historic feat for our channel, a historic week for our channel, as 50 weeks of news dominance with CNN News 18. Our channel has, as you can see, maintained the lead for 50 weeks at #1.
Thank you very much, for starters, to all our viewers, because this is an incredible achievement in the history of Indian news television. No channel has had this kind of a run for 50 weeks. In cricketing terms, it's a half century. It's almost a year. It's 2 weeks short of a year since CNN News 18, your channel, became #1. We want to thank all our viewers because I don't think we could have achieved this without your support, your love, and your commitment to the kind of journalism, the kind of news stories that we put out there. I think this is an incredible testament to the fact that there is a large audience out there that wants sane, sober, middle-of-the-road news without any shouting, without any chest thumping, without any hyperventilation. And I think the fact that CNN News 18 has been #1 now for the last 50 weeks is actually a salute, is actually a testament to all of those viewers who are not wanting to move to the partisan extremes, as it were. They are happy to get good old-fashioned news, sane, sober, middle of the road, without any political biases, as it were, not swinging left, not swinging right, just knowing what happened in the country and in the world around them today and why it's important and why they should be paying attention. I think it is an affirmation, like I said, for that kind of, old school journalism, if you will. Even though I don't think, the team that is bringing this together is a very, very young team. I keep saying this in our newsroom. The average age in the newsroom is probably 25 or 26. So it's a young team, and 50 weeks, the last 1 year. I think it's the fruit of the effort that we have put in, this young team has put in over the last 3 years or so. For me, this journey really began 3 years ago, incidentally around the same time when COVID happened. The entire country went into lockdown, and we had this young team. We had to work from 4 different locations. There was one office, one team in one part of office. There was another team in the other part of office that would come at a different time. There were multiple teams that were working from home, and it was hell. It really was hell. But I think the way different people in this young team stepped up when the challenge presented itself, or when the opportunity presented itself, I think that was incredible. And so the effort really started, in my view, from 2020 onwards, when we went through the sort of cataclysmic events of the COVID-19 surge and the lockdown and so on. What we have seen over the last 1 year, last 50 weeks, is the fruit of all of that hard work, is the fruit of all of that labor. So I think this is an ode to the young team here at CNN News 18 as well. But like I said, it's incredible. It hasn't happened in the history of news television that a channel has dominated the ratings in this fashion for 50 weeks. And I'm also happy to report to our viewers, it's not just on one platform, it's not just on linear television where our dominance has been well established now for the better part of the last 1 year. We're also now the #1 English news channel on YouTube, and it's been the case for the last 8 months. In fact, the month of March, we would close out with 90 million views, I think, which is incredible. It's again unheard of in Indian news television that an English channel from India gets 90 million views. We've had 100 million views plus every month since September of last year. We're again #1 on Facebook. I think last month we closed out at 135 million views on Facebook. So again, I come back to that point. So we're #1 across platforms, whether it is television, whether it is YouTube, whether it is Facebook. And I think, this is an incredible achievement. And like I said, an ode to the young team here that is toiling away day in and day out. It couldn't have been possible without them. And once again, I want to really, really thank all our viewers. We had a big event last week, Rising India, and even just anecdotally, people who came up to me or came up to some of our senior editors and faces, and they were speaking. And the one sort of constant thing that you always heard was, I like watching your channel because you guys don't shout. So I think that's become a bit of an identity, if you will. And again, once again, thank you, viewers. We couldn't have done this without you. I think it's an incredible achievement. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of everyone here at Team CNN News 18. We hope your love and support and affection continues for the next 50, maybe the next 100 weeks. As they say in cricketing terms, this is just a half century. Abhi century to baki hai.
Zakha, over the last few years, we've also seen a lot of skepticism towards the rating system itself. So I wanted to ask you to break down for our audiences what that number lead actually means. We're showing our audiences 34.8, I believe, on the ticker below. Can you tell us more about what those numbers mean?
Oh, it's been incredible. I mean, over the last, like I said, 50 weeks, the dominance of CNN News 18 on any metric that you take of the BARC ratings has been so clear that I think whether it is the advertisers, whether it is the industry, whether it is just viewers who are watching, I think it's very, very clear to everyone that middle of the road, sober, sane, not hyperventilating news, not partisan news, there is a huge market for it. And I think that is the greatest lesson that we've all learned over the last 1 year, that you don't have to shout from the rooftops, you don't have to beat your chest, you don't have to, wag your finger, as it were, and most of all, you don't have to, put your guests in little boxes and hector them. Really, I think that is the biggest learning for all of us, that there is a huge audience out there which is validating, which is consuming this, and which is happy to partake in this kind of sober, middle of the road news delivery and style and editorial balance, if you will. So I think that has been a great learning experience for all of us. And like I said, going forward, what we are attempting to build, this converged newsroom, because news is today breaking anywhere. It's breaking on your phone. It's not necessarily breaking on television. So if we can, build an ecosystem of reporters, producers, video editors, camera persons who are platform agnostic, I think that is going to be our next big journey over the next year and the next few years. But like I said, I'm happy to report that it's not just the BARC ratings, it's not just on linear television that CNN News 18 is number one. We are number one today on YouTube, number one on Facebook, and
Welcome back. The accused in the arson attack inside the Alappuzha-Kannur Express train is currently undergoing medical and forensic examination at the Kozhikode Medical College. The accused will be produced before magistrate after medical proceedings. Shahrukh was nabbed from Ratnagiri in Maharashtra on Wednesday. He was taken to Kerala and will be interrogated by the state ATS. Remember, the initial probe has revealed that Shahrukh Saifi is a resident of Delhi's Shaheen Bagh in Jamia Nagar, and a team of Kerala police yesterday visited his residence as well. There were searches that were conducted at his house, but nothing was found so far. His father was also questioned. DGP Kerala has said that any terror angle or any other angles at this point in time cannot be ruled out. Investigation is underway, and only then we can have some kind of confirmation. Reactions on the story.
He is being medically examined. A team of doctors is examining him from all the angles. We haven't started questioning him. Once he is medically examined and the doctors confirm that, then we'll start questioning him and interrogating him. It was a combined effort by our SIT and central agencies and Maharashtra police.
Was he alone, sir, in this crime?
That we have to verify. We'll look into all the aspects. We have to, put the whole picture after questioning him. Whatever he says, the verification of whatever he says, we have to verify and trace his movements on the background and all that. Everything, then we'll be able to establish.
वो ट्रेस नहीं हो रहा था, उसको ट्रेस करने के लिए कोशिश कर रहे थे हमारे सब टीम लोग. उसमें से पता चला कि वो रत्नागिरी रेलवे स्टेशन पे वो हमें हमारी टीम के लोगों को मिला है ना. वो अभी हमने उसको केरला पुलिस की जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन की टीम है, वो रत्नागिरी आई थी सब मॉर्निंग में, उनको अभी अगले तपास के लिए हैंडओवर किया है. ये जो केरला का जो रेलवे का क्राइम है, उसने किया है, ऐसा उसने कन्फेस किया है, कबूल किया है उसने, और वो शाहीन बाग दिल्ली का रहने वाला है, ऐसा उसने हमें अभी तक जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुआ उसमें पता चला है.
My colleague Neetu is joining us on the broadcast. Neetu, Shah Rukh is nabbed. The information, the latest one that you have sent, it also seems like that he has a medical issue at hand. So he might not be produced before the court. Tell us about what the investigation has revealed so far. The police has been very cautious since the day one. They have not confirmed or denied any angle. Prima facie, what does the investigation tell us? Where is it leading so far?
See, the latest news coming in from Kozhikode is that the accused Shah Rukh Shaif, he has been admitted to the medical ward of the prison ward of the Kozhikode Medical College. This is a ward where prisoners, if they have any issues, will be admitted there. He's suspected to have jaundice. That is what we are understanding. In his medical examinations, there were not major issues, but still he's suspected to have jaundice, and that is why he has been admitted. So we are understanding is that they have transit time till tomorrow, and now during this time the other possibility is that they could do a video conferencing with the magistrate, so that is also a possibility since he has been admitted to the hospital. Now as far as the investigation is concerned, the officers, what they are saying is that it's too early to talk about the motive or any angle, because they are not ruling out any angle. What they are saying is that they need to get this person in custody. A detailed interrogation is needed to find out if he was indeed alone in committing this crime, whether he had any accomplices, what is the motive of this, because the randomness of this entire crime is something which the police is also looking at, because the first time this person is coming to the state of Kerala is what we are understanding, and also in the investigation so far they have not found any criminal antecedents. So the charges including the UAPA charges are most likely to be slapped in this case, but the DGP himself said that only after further interrogation and verifying the statements which Shah Rukh gives the police, they will be adding more. But the main question is, what is the motive for this? Was he alone in committing this crime? Is there somebody behind him, or is there an organization? So to all this, the police says they can only give an answer after a thorough investigation.
Neetu, as you pointed out, that at this point in time it is difficult to confirm or deny anything, and more importantly what the purpose was. What seems to be a very random crime, was it a result of radicalization or something else that Shah Rukh was going through which resulted in this crime? All of those details once a thorough professional investigation is over in this entire case, which costed the life and also the safety of many people who were on board that train. Well, we'll continue tracking this and much more. With that, it's a wrap on this edition. Thank you for watching.
This is a big announcement for us right here on CNN News 18. A historic feat for our channel, a historic week for our channel, as 50 weeks of news dominance.
It's not just on linear television that CNN News 18 is #1. We are #1 today on YouTube, #1 on Facebook, and #1 on the BARC TRP ratings for linear television. The team that is bringing this together is a very, very young team. I think it's the fruit of the effort that we have put in. The way different people in this young team stepped up when the challenge presented itself, or when the opportunity presented itself, I think that was incredible. We want to thank all our viewers, because I don't think we could have achieved this without your support, your love, and your commitment to the kind of journalism, the kind of news stories that we put out there.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. The chaotic budget session of Parliament officially ended today. This session was conducted in two phases and saw many disruptions over many issues. And for the first time in many sessions, the blame was squarely on both sides of the aisle. Today, several opposition parties skipped a courtesy meet called by the Speaker and staged a Tiranga Yatra instead from Parliament to Vijaya Chowk. The opposition claims they are not being allowed to speak in Parliament and raise their issues. On the other hand, the BJP blamed the opposition for the ruckus and called their black protest, for example, an insult. On the occasion of BJP Foundation Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi once again called the Congress a corrupt party, reiterating a message he's been hammering for the last few days. The corruption will be the biggest differentiator between UPA and NDA, and even the crackdown on corruption, which has become a big political fight. As elections approach, the general elections in 2024, it's clear the PM is reminding the public of his na khaunga, na khane dunga promise, which brought him to power in 2014. This is also important as the Congress and many other opposition parties are harping on the Adani issue, asking direct questions of the PM. In the past, Chaukidar Chor Hai hasn't worked for the Congress. In fact, some would say it probably backfired. So will throwing a corruption charge on the Prime Minister work this time? Is corruption squarely the top agenda for 2024 elections? That's our big debate coming up. We'll take that question to our guests in just a bit. But first up, on the issue of Parliament logjam, it's not pretty reading. In 25 days of the budget session, there hasn't been much to write home about. A little bit of the numbers. The productivity in Lok Sabha has been as low as 33%, in Rajya Sabha just 24% this session. Out of the stipulated minimum 150 hours, the houses have functioned only for 46 and 32 hours respectively. Time spent on legislation was an abysmal half hour, and that's the most indicting statistic. Let me break down these numbers more. There were 25 sessions, 25 days in the entire budget session. Money lost during this period is 166 crore rupees plus, out of the total cost of conducting business for these many days, which was 225 crore rupees. That's because Parliament ideally should have worked for 150 hours per house, but the work was an average of just 39 hours per house. So that's about 111 hours of work that were lost. Only 3 bills were introduced as far as this session is concerned. 34 bills are still pending. Treasury and opposition benches have been attacking each other over the logjam. Initially, it started with government demanding Rahul Gandhi's apology, remember, over his remarks in London as the second phase of the budget session